Welcome to SoCal Sports Report. I can't believe it. Time flies. It's already our 65th live podcast. That's incredible. It seems like only yesterday when we were getting this thing off the ground. I am John Stellman. We're here again with John Adams and Jake Fomensky. A full hour, and I'm sure we're going to have trouble squeezing everything in. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's go with the Rams first. What an exciting game that was. We'll get into that in depth and detail against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think I heard from somebody that's the first time a team has scored over 50 points and lost.
Yeah.
That tells you a little bit about that game. Talk about the Chargers and why their loss Sunday was really devastating. The Trojans, of course, and the Bruins. John nailed that one. Said he wouldn't be surprised to see a Bruin win, and he was right on. We'll talk a little bit about Clay Helton and see how this loss, and you know they're going to get run Sunday, so he may be on the outside looking in. The Lakers are in Cleveland tonight. LeBron returns home. He got 51 the other night in Miami, and he's returned there. And we'll see how he does tonight. The game should be about an hour in, and I understand he was going to get a better reception
He
this
did,
time.
actually. He did.
Yeah, than he got when he came back as a Heat. The Warriors are in a situation where they've lost 3 straight, which is they've never lost 4 in a row under Steve Kerr. They're playing Oklahoma City tonight. I think it's only a 1-point spread, so we'll talk a little bit about there. There seems to be a little bit of internal strife and indications Durant might be wanting out. We'll certainly talk about that. The Clippers are right there. They're right on the tail of Golden State. In fact, they were a half a game ahead until they lost to Washington last night. But I think they're just 1 game behind Golden State. The Kings and Ducks are still struggling a bit. More injuries hit the Ducks. Every time you shake your head, another injury. I got two defensemen now. Fowler and Lindstrom both out. I don't know how they can. It's miraculous that Randy Carlisle could even field a team. We'll talk about the free agents. I haven't heard any rumors yet. The Syndergaard rumor to San Diego is pretty strong. We'll talk about the free agent movement, if there is any, and what our thoughts are on who might go where. So let's get started with the Rams and the Colts. I mean, I don't know where to get started. I mean, that was just I watched every snap. That was one of the most incredible. Might have been the best ball game I've ever seen. Now that Rose Bowl game with USC and Penn State was a pretty good ball game too. But this thing was just, like we said, I think last week that the last team standing is going to win, and thank goodness for the Rams they picked off a couple of interceptions. But I was a little nervous when Mahomes took over in the last minute there and started moving them down the field. Jake, what were your takes on that game?
A lot of offense, obviously. I thought that both teams pretty much showed that. I mean, obviously there was no defense,
right?
But I feel like it's almost kind of like that. Everyone's talking about college football right now. That those shootout games like that Oklahoma and Alabama would play, and I think both teams for the AFC and the NFC. I mean, I think they're going to be in the Super Bowl too. I do. I mean, it's almost getting to the point now where you don't need a defense anymore. I feel like if you could put up 45, 40 points a game, you're probably going to win that one and make, 2 or 3 stops here and there. That game's pretty much over. And I just think with how the Rams looked, how Kansas City, Mahomes, got that ball tipped for that interception.
Insane, yeah.
But, watching, taking a look at that game, that was so fun to watch and, hope, we get to see it again in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would be disappointed if the Rams and the Chiefs met in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I thought it was exciting. A big tennis match back and forth. It was a lot of hype for the game.
It lived up to it.
It did. It had a big crowd. I thought it was. I don't know. I came away from it saying I think Kansas City's still a better team.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is the Rams had two defensive touchdowns, and Kansas City lost by 3 with a chance at the very end of the game to actually win the game. So they hung in there. I think the whole Mahomes Patrick Reed thing. Patrick Reed. Sorry, my head's in golf. The Mahomes Reed relationship is getting stronger every single week. I think their defense is starting to get a little bit better. But, I got to give it to Goff also, who, he really handled tight situations. And they did that with Gurley. I think only had 55 yards rushing.
He was hurt.
So, yeah. But when you're looking at, Mahomes, it's 33 for 46 for 478 yards and 6 TDs. And, he had 3 INTs, which hurt, right? But then Goff's, he's 31 for 49 for 413 and 4 TDs and no INT. So, if you want to watch an exciting football game, you saw it, and it had somewhat of a feel of a Super Bowl, actually, to be honest with you. But don't sleep on the Saints. They're a great football team. They just went right in and took care of the Super Bowl champs last week and threw 45 on them or something crazy. So, I think it's I think that game was, you're watching it, and as it progressed and progressed and progressed, it was whoever has the ball last is going to win this game, right? Yeah. So, I thought you got a little bit of everything, to be honest with you, and it was, I have no problem, if you want to just shut the rest of the season down and put those guys in the Super Bowl, and give it a go. But, a lot of things can happen. Don't sleep on the Steelers, who are starting to figure it out. You always got to think about, the New England Patriots,
Yeah, he always figures out.
So there's, don't be surprised if these two teams aren't in the Super Bowl either,
right,
because
exactly.
anything can happen.
Yeah.
So, but it was very exciting. I'm glad it was in LA and not Mexico City. I'll
That's
be honest with you.
That's the best thing that
happened. And that was, you got to give it to the Rams. They got caught in a snowstorm up in Colorado. They really didn't get to practice late, but getting them in fresh air. I know they put them up in the altitude because they want to get them ready for Mexico City, but I guess that smoke up there, we feel for all of the people that lost their homes and had to be evacuated, and I thought it was great that they wore the LAFD hats on the sideline, which was really cool.
That was impressive.
But overall, it was great entertainment. It was a great football game. It was back and forth. It wasn't one-sided. It was just everything you want in a Monday Night Football game, and you got it.
Yeah. I'm glad the game came back to L.A. You wouldn't have had that kind of a atmosphere in Mexico City. That crowd was really into it. I thought it was very classy. After the game was over, Goff and several of the players came out to the first responders who came down onto the field. And they just didn't come out there and say, "Hi, how are you? Here's my autograph, goodbye." They spent a lot of time with them. They talked to them intensely. They really wanted to know what their situations were, how they can help. They were very, very, very receptive to their concerns, and I just thought that was. I thought the whole night was. You couldn't ask for a better atmosphere, better crowd, better response, better ball game. It was tremendous.
The only place that's hurting is Vegas. Vegas lost a lot of money on Monday night,
especially on the over-under.
On the over-under, yeah.
Was 64?
64.
Well, they were
64 at like the beginning of the third quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have taken a bath.
Yeah.
They would have taken a bath on that. Yeah, Gurley was hurt, which I didn't realize. I saw that note today. But, yeah, they used him as a decoy a lot, used him as a blocker a lot. But, when Mahomes got the ball late in the fourth quarter there, I thought, a lot of emotional switches in that game.
A lot of people understand, this is his first season. He's doing a heck of a job,
Yeah.
And so I you got to give it to Mahomes. He's handling tough situations. His two losses, right, are to the Patriots and to the Rams. Two quality teams. Other than that, they're taking care of business. And
wasn't that Patriot the first game of the season?
No, it was about a month ago, actually. Yeah. So
it was a good game. That's one of the reasons that the Chargers, who still have to learn how to kick extra points and field goals. The Ram game made the Chargers' loss very, very demoralizing because if the Chargers won that game, they'd have been a half a game behind Kansas City and even in the loss column.
I was there.
Even in the loss column.
And it was frustrating to watch. There was a lot of orange in there.
You
I was there. Yeah, there was a lot of orange in there. And, you know, I saw a lot of positives. I saw some negatives, right? But, you know, it was the first time that Phillip Rivers made a bad mistake, threw it right to Miller, who went down, you know, to about the 20-yard line, and you could feel the whole momentum switch. There's enough Denver fans in that crowd to let them know that, hey, look, we're here for you. Mm-hmm. So the momentum started. It flew for a couple of, but the Chargers, I got to give it to them. They got themselves back in the game and they got the lead, right? But on that third down play, I don't know if you guys were watching the game, but you know, you've got a minute. I think you got the 2-minute warning, right? So they come out of the 2-minute warning, and they try to do a screen. Well, when he turns to fake the handoff, he's turned the wrong way, or the running back has gone the wrong way, but it looked terrible. He freaks out, and he just throws the ball on the ground. Now, if he doesn't throw the ball on the ground and he goes down and takes a knee, there runs off another 25 seconds on that clock. Now, when he punts that ball down to them on the 5-yard line, they're down in the minute, 20-second, maybe minute 15-second situation with no timeouts. That being said, even with a minute 50 on the clock, you don't deserve to win that game if you're going to allow a team with no timeouts to go 65 yards and kick a field goal to win a ball game. You don't deserve to win that game.
Right.
Your defense is better than that, right? So, you know, in my mind, you know, I think the offense did everything that they needed to do to win that game, and the special teams and the defense just threw up all over themselves. I mean, it was bad. But again, on the other side, for the offense, that was bad clock management that could have helped the defense a little bit. But still, I mean, they let him throw a little slant across the field and get like 40-something yards or whatever, and then be able to get. And they have a great kicker in Denver. So.
And 14 personal fouls too.
Yeah,
for the Chargers.
Yeah, so it was, you know, so that was the downside to the whole game was, you know, a little bit late clock management was terrible, and you know, your defense has to step up to make plays, and they.
How did Bosa look?
Bosa didn't look that bad actually. Chased down the quarterback a couple times. I think he might have had a half sack or a full sack.
Was
one
that Case Keenum?
Case Keenum, yeah.
Case Keenum, yeah. So it was. You could tell they didn't. It was limited. It was limited. They don't let him play all the time. He usually came down when they thought it was going to be a pass play or third down. That's when you saw him a lot. He started to play more at the very end, but you know he's still not in full playing shape. No. So, but you know they knew where he was. Let's just say that, you know, and then I started looking at it again. Let me see here. Let's look at the whole Chargers situation here. Like, yes, they're 7-3, right? Mm-hmm. They've beat the Raiders twice. They beat the Titans. They beat the Seahawks. They beat the Browns. They beat the 49ers, and they beat the Bills. All under 500. All struggling, right, to win games on a weekly basis. Who are their losses to? Rams, Chiefs, and now Denver, right? Who only had three or four wins, right, at the most. Right?
They were 3-6, I think.
Right? Mm-hmm. So now you start looking at things, right? They still have to play Pittsburgh. They still have to play Baltimore.
Is Pittsburgh away or
no, Pittsburgh's away.
Yeah.
So they get the Cardinals this weekend. So you got to win that game because, to be honest with you, they're high up on the wild card. They're going to be able to, if they just win probably 3 of the next 5 games, I think they put themselves in for sure for a wild card situation. Mm-hmm. But that game, if they win that game, that takes them to 8-2, and they go up high in the playoff. You know, but they don't. But luckily, the AFC below them is like the next guy to them has 5 wins. So they've got kind of a 2-game kind of deal. But again, they play Pittsburgh away. They play Baltimore, I think, at home, and they play the Bengals at home. But you know, you gotta beat the. I'm sorry, and they play the Chiefs away. Mm-hmm. So actually, of the next 5 games, I mean, only one's a gimme, which is hopefully this weekend against Arizona. Mm-hmm. So it's not over yet for them. I mean, but they're going to have to. Defense is going to have to step it up, and they're going to have to start showing. I mean, they do play pretty good on the road, right? But it's not going to be easy. Let's just say that. So.
No, I totally agree with that.
The Trojans and the Bruins.
Well, Jake being the Notre Dame fans, licking his chops this weekend.
It's going to be a fun Saturday.
Oh, I look like, I think 51 to 10, something like that. I think
Spread's 10.5 going right now. Yes,
that's way too low.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked by that.
We'll give you a chance in just a second.
Cavaliers 52, the Lakers 49 at halftime.
Oh, okay. LeBron will get cranked up at the second half. The Trojans couldn't, they couldn't afford to lose that game. I mean, I can't see any way that Clay Helton is their coach next year.
Well, first of all, it was the lowest. I think it's the lowest fan support
right
in all the years. Bowl. Yeah, plenty of seats. You probably could have walked up and got one, right? Yeah. I actually think he does keep his job.
Yeah.
Okay, I really do.
Good.
Now, I also think that he's going to be made to fire all his coordinators. And he's going to have to reboot this whole thing. I don't know about special teams, but I have a feeling the defensive coordinator and the offensive coordinator are gone. That's just, again, I'm guessing this, right? But if you think about and look at this, right? Helton's a straight shooter. He's a Christian, right? And you got a school that still doesn't have a president, right? They still are going through some lawsuit situations on the back end that are probably on the silent side, but they are going through some issues back there. And I've got a coach that I know is going to be straight and narrow, not do anything wrong. He's still an offensive-minded guy, right? But I know that he's going to get a lot of backlash from this alumni. But unless there's somebody out there that can wow the crowd and he can come in and replace Helton and be that straight shooter kind of guy, I still see Clay saving his job for at least one more year.
So you don't think he'll come to the preseason dinner drunk?
That would be a no. Right? And I actually think that a lot of kids on the team like him.
Yeah,
I really do. I think that T. Martin shouldn't even have started this season with this brand new quarterback. If that was the case, I think that's the first guy I would have got rid of is T. Martin. But I'm not too happy with the way that you let a team run. One guy runs for 289 against you, right? And that's defense, right? Yeah. I mean, they put up 28 points, enough to win that game. But your defense was terrible. But your quarterback threw some crucial picks late, So I don't know if you want to chime in on it.
I agree. I think actually Helton's going to stay. As much as I would love to say that, but I think he's going to, just because, like what John said, they don't have a president, and Lynn Swann extended him. Was it last year or 2 years ago?
Yeah,
and I think the latest rumor that I've heard is James Franklin from Penn State, if he gets canned, would come over to USC. But other than that, that's the only rumblings you've heard, and that's a late rumor that's been going on. So I think Helton will stay, but like what John said, I think Martin's gone. I think their defensive coordinator's gone. It's probably going to be, start fresh, next year. Because, they have weapons on that offense. They really do. Daniels and Amon St. Brown.
Clay would probably be your offense coordinator, and then your quarterback coach or whatever turns into your offensive coordinator. But still, Clay's going to – you just need to go get a defensive coordinator, right? But, you're up 27-21 with 11 minutes left in that game, and you allow a guy – go 60 yards on a play. White goes 60 yards, and then you could just completely. And then they kick off, and the next play from scrimmage, he throws a pick. That was it. You're done. Air came out of the bubble, and you were done, right? So I just that's just bad. I don't think that's coaching. That's a bad decision by a quarterback who I think was actually trying to throw the ball away.
Yeah,
and your defense, I think the quarterback only threw for 166 yards against you, right? On the other side, JT Daniels threw for like 350 or 360 or something like that. So, JT Daniels threw for 337, 2 TDs and 2 INTs. Spieth throws for 166 with a TD with an INT. But the kid runs for 289.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's a walk-on from UC Davis.
Right.
Right?
Who was benched twice during the year.
Who actually decided he had a chance to go to USC or UCLA, and he decided to go to UCLA. So, I don't know. I don't know how to answer the whole Helton thing. I know they're going to get boat race this weekend. I know for sure that stadium is going to be packed full of Notre Dame fans.
Exactly.
Because they're sitting there going, if we win this game, we're guaranteed the playoff.
We're in the top four.
Your last game, right? Is it your last game?
Yeah, they're number 3
the last
now.
game, right? And they're number 3, right?
Yeah.
And so I can see a lot of these USC fans goes, we're not going to a bowl game. We could care. I mean, here's my tickets. Go.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling it's going to be a typical LA football game where could be as many opposing fans than there are, the home team fan. Yeah. And I'm talking when I say football, San Diego, Rams, USC,
Well, president or no president, I don't see how he survives. I've been a USC fan for as long as I can remember. I had a neighbor down the street who I went to high school with, who ended up going to USC and being a pretty good All-America in, Hal Bitzel. And I went to he got me tickets to the Rose Bowl game. I went to the only Rose Bowl game I've ever been to was, I think SC beat Wisconsin 51-48 or something like that. But I just can't see, there's too much power. There's too many money guys in this city, too many big rich alums who are not happy. And a lot of the Trojan support comes from the alumni and the wealthy donors that they have. And I don't think they're going to I just don't think they'll put up with it. They'll put too much pressure.
So let me ask you a question. What are they not happy about?
Clay Helton.
Well, Clay Helton's dealing with a 17-year-old quarterback, 18-year-old quarterback. I mean, he has 3 freshman quarterbacks, really. He doesn't have any wow players, right? Now, what's going to hurt him is I'm wondering how many kids that were going to USC are going to flip to go to UCLA.
That's it. See, I don't see.
So I understand. Now, it goes back. Let's rewind this whole thing, and we talked about this with Vince, right? Do you guys consider USC being, I think we brought this up, and I'll bring it up again. Do you think that USC is a top 15 school in the nation?
Yeah.
Okay. If that's the case, do you think the SEC is the number 1 league in the nation?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think Clay Helton would ever get a job in the SEC as a head coach?
No.
Right. So why is he there in the first place?
Well, that's the thing.
You had an SEC coach who's turned LSU all around with Ogeron, and you said no to him.
Who also was your top recruiter?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Right.
How are you gonna recruit now? How is Clay Helton going to go out and recruit this offseason, coming off a 5-7 record?
I agree.
How's he going to sell it?
And UCLA's coming off a 3, and I mean they've only won 3 or 4 games, right? And they're about the same, right? But again, why is he there in the first place? Well, I think he's there in the first place because you got a lot of bad press going on the backside of this organization. And I think he's the straight shooter. And I think until that kind of calms down behind there, you get a president and you get everything organized, then you can go after the Penn States or some of these SEC guys. Les Miles, I guess, might go.
He's going to Kansas.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
signed it.
I don't know. I don't know who the guy is, right? But if I am making this decision as Lynn Swan, I'm going after a very big, high-profile coach, right?
Yeah. That's what you should have done in the first place.
Right.
If you're a 5-star...
But you couldn't do that in the first place because, what's his name's, getting loaded at a deal, and he just kind of said, hey, Clay, you got to take this over. And what does he do? He reels off 19 in a row at home. And you're like, well, maybe I found the guy. Well, now we're finding out that maybe he isn't the guy.
Yeah.
But who is the guy? And is that guy going to want to accept these, the stuff that's going on behind the scenes?
The last coach there with the losing record was Paul Hackett in 2000. You know what happened to him.
Right. Again, I think he's going to get fired, but I don't know if it's going to be until 2020.
If you're a 5-star recruit in Southern California, why would you go to USC?
Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of them going to Oregon.
Yeah.
That guy in Oregon is taking a lot of these. I want to say there's a lot of kids out of Mater Dei and some kids out of Bosco that are going to Oregon. That guy is starting to take a lot of kids out of Southern California.
That's because you have two programs that are,
you don't know about really, right? Yeah. And you got a quarterback up there that's already being talked about going to the NFL. And he wants to stay, but we don't know what that's going to happen or not. $30 million goes a long way, right? So, but yeah, that guy up in Oregon is starting to take a lot of kids out of Southern California, and that let's talk. I mean, that's another thing. You got Mater Dei playing Bosco for the Southern California Finals Friday night,
right?
So, that'll be interesting.
Well, at least when Kelly goes in to recruit, he can say, "Well, we beat USC."
No, yeah. And that's
what USC can't. Why would you go? I still don't know.
Well, it's still a storied, really a top program. Why do you want to go to UCLA? It's because Chip's turning it around. Well, Chip really hasn't turned it around yet. I mean, he is going to bring in his guys,
right?
And that's the good thing about what you got with Chip that you don't have with Clay is. I'm starting from fresh here. I started 14 freshmen or whatever it was. Like, I'm bringing my guys in. But I look at let's just rewind. You're losing your quarterback this year, and you're going back to Robinson, right? And who's a better quarterback? Who's going to run the offense better? JT Daniels or this kid Robinson that lost his job in the middle of the year and he wasn't doing anything bad. It's just the senior he liked better.
Yeah.
So let's just say if the senior never got hurt, or let's say the senior hurt himself for the rest of the year. Do you think that kid Robinson would have beat USC yesterday or the other day? I don't know. Could have been because the guy ran for 300 yards.
Yeah, 300 yards.
Could have been, but I mean, I don't know. So I still think that you can't go wrong going either way. But I don't think that I'm going to go to UCLA instead of USC because UCLA beat USC. I think that's a bad way to make a decision. But I'm saying you're going to two programs, if you want to stay in Southern California, that are still kind of rebooting things.
Right.
So
we'll let Jake break down the massacre that will occur Saturday.
Yeah.
Notre Dame is having a hell of a year. They belong in the playoffs. They're number 3 now, I think.
Yeah.
And they're right where they should be. I don't think the coach is going to have any trouble motivating him with the, championship playoffs right staring him squarely in the eye. Mm-hmm. How bad is it going to be?
Well, it depends, honestly, how I'm going to watch the first 2 quarters. If Notre Dame is not running the ball with Dexter Williams and Jafar Armstrong, and they try and do all these cute bootleg play-action passes, then I think USC's got a chance. But if Notre Dame comes out firing and runs the ball with those 2 guys, it could get ugly in a hurry. I think against Stanford, Dexter Williams ran for 145 yards in 2 quarters before half.
So why wouldn't they come out and run
because it's Brian Kelly. That's the thing. And that's the other thing. He might leave next year. There's rumors that he might go to the NFL. So who knows how locked in he is for this game. That's why it's kind of, there's some question marks. But the other thing that kind of concerns me too is if could these USC players know something that we don't know and that they're going to play for Helton because this could be his last game. And that's where I could see it being tight, early.
Right.
But, I mean, yeah, I hate to say it. I think it's going to be a 52-17 game.
I think what is at first, I'll be honest with you. At first, I want to say probably about 4 games ago or 3 games ago when they started. When did they dip into the top 4? About 3 games ago or 4 games ago?
Yeah, 4 games ago.
I thought, okay, Notre Dame and Michigan would get boat raced by Alabama and Clemson. Okay, that was my first. Congratulations, you're in the 3rd and 4th spot, but you can't hold these guys' hats.
No.
Okay, Well, first of all, I don't think they can hold Alabama's
No.
hands, but I don't think anybody
Nobody
can hold
can.
it. Nobody
Nobody
right?
can.
Except the Citadel for the first half, right?
Seriously.
So,
What? Yeah, what's
but
he
then,
doing?
then, as you guys have played the last 4 games, I think you're getting better and better and better. And I'll tell you where you're getting better. Your offensive line and your defensive line are next level guys.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They're next level guys. And you have a running back and you have pretty much a receiver that are next level guys, right? So I think that they're going to, that game this Saturday is completely based on who controls the line of scrimmage. And right now, they're going to be able to dominate. And I think it's going to be another week of running the ball up USC's butt the whole entire time, right? I don't think they're going to have to pass too much, to be honest with you. And I think what it's going to be is, and it wouldn't, and I don't know if Brian Kelly's Brian Kelly, right? I don't think Brian Kelly's this kind of guy. But if I'm thinking about this, right, if I'm up by 20 late, I might want to sub a lot of guys in because my defensive line's going to, be able to control. I don't know. But then there's a part of me where the alumni is like, no, you beat them by 60, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. But knowing that win is Georgia's not going to jump you. Oklahoma's not going to jump it because you're in the 3 spot.
Right.
You're not going to go from 3 to 5, right? But you need those guys healthy for that bowl
Exactly.
game, right?
Yeah.
Those bowl games.
Yeah. You can't risk injury.
No.
It wouldn't surprise me if they're up big and then let them kind of backdoor into it a little bit, right? And hell yeah, I would try to keep it safe, right? Because, how would you like to lose your running back, to an issue with, when you're up by 30 with 10 minutes left or whatever,
Exactly.
right? So I'm curious to see how he manages that game. But the defensive line and the offensive line are going to control the line of scrimmage, and that's where I think this thing could get ugly is just them running, just another running back going for 250 on them. Like it could really happen.
And this is the best Notre Dame defense since the national championship team.
Yeah.
That's what's so scary. I mean, that secondary for Notre Dame, I know everybody talks about LSU's secondary. Notre Dame's secondary's got some next level guys as well.
Yeah.
And that's where I think, just the defense alone
Right.
is going to be, USC is going to be going 3 and out a whole bunch.
And Brian Kelly's finally got comfortable with a quarterback.
Yeah.
That's the other
Yeah.
thing.
Took
He's
him
finally
9
got
years.
comfortable with the
No more
quarterback.
musical chairs.
Yeah.
So
The Lakers 9-7 with a winnable game tonight. That would give them a nice 10-7 start, which I heard. When's the last time they were 3 games over 500? 2012 or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's been a long time. I like the way they bounced back against Orlando or Miami after losing that first game to Orlando. It's tough to win back-to-back, games on the road. I wanted them to, I wanted to see a 2-1 road trip, which they could have. This is the first really extended stay away from LA. Different time zones. I think they've played well. We'll see how it comes. You got a later score on that game?
I'm going to get one to you. Just keep talking.
LeBron.
58-53 Cavaliers, 9:29 left in the third.
The third.
So the Cavaliers are holding their own against LeBron.
They're playing hard. Vinny thought they would probably go 9-11 in their first 20. They might. They should go 10-10. I don't know who they play after they come back home. They're 9-7 now. They could go 10-10 in the first 20.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still gonna say I'm not gonna really make a judgment call on these guys till I see 30 games underneath their belt. It's just you're living and dying with LeBron scoring 40 to 50 a game for you guys to win games. And,
you need more balance than that,
right? And now you lose your point guard, and now how is Ball going to be, with Rondo out?
Well, they put him on the second string. He's on the bench.
Yeah. So is it? So Hart's probably the point, right? So now I'm wondering if they wish they had the chance to go after and get Jimmy Butler. That Rondo broke his hand and stuff. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm still a wait and see. I think they let teams get on big runs. They again, there's a guy that you talk about a job that's on the line. I just don't know if Luke's the guy. I think those guys are behind the scenes going, okay, we don't think Luke's the guy, but who is the guy, right? So it wouldn't be surprising that, Magic and his team are trying to put something together to find who would be a good coach for LeBron, right? And possibly a KD or whoever, is the big name they go out and get in this next year. So again, I just think it's like, wow, they got everything clicking, they win. Next day they play against, Orlando and they get their butt handed to them, right? So it's just very back and forth and up and down with those guys. So I'm not gonna really judge on
not a lot of consistency.
No.
Like you said, it's a pickup game at the beach. Is what they
really it is. It's like walking up and seeing a blacktop and a bunch of guys throwing the ball up and going and I do think that I think I mentioned that, but we mentioned it last week, but the new center that they picked up has been a great acquisition. Chandler, yeah. Been a great acquisition for him, right? So that's a good move there. But if they can find a couple more other guys, like is J.R. Smith now going to come on over, right? Are they trying to do a Smith trade to somebody, that Cleveland might want? But I hope they don't give away somebody that's, they're prepping to be good in depth-wise on their bench and give them away so LeBron gets his buddy back for a year or something like that.
I heard
he's owed $15 million in that contract or something like that this year.
$15 million.
Yeah.
I heard on the post-game show coming in, Michael Thompson said that they were talking about Smith.
Yeah.
Perfect fit for Houston.
Houston,
because he played with D'Antoni. Where New York?
Well, they just let Carmelo go.
Yeah.
Or they're trying to trade him. Have they let him go?
They let him go.
They let him go.
Yeah.
Well, I know they were trying to get something for him. So.
Well, the latest thing that I heard too as well is getting John Wall from the Wizards, which would be I think he's owed $42 million
this year.
This year.
This year. It's like his escalated.
Yeah, it's a backloaded contract.
Yeah, they're trying to get rid of everybody. And both their guards, what's his name, Beal?
Beal, yeah.
They're trying to get rid of him too.
I would take Beal, but Beal's owed, I think, $20 million. Like their contracts in Washington, I wouldn't even touch if you're the Lakers.
No,
you can't.
Not when you're trying to, bring in somebody, another superstar next summer. Do you guys think there's any problems in Golden State having lost 3 in a row? Is it the internal problem?
No. Look at
they're still
everybody's
basically
competitive,
the same team.
right? I guarantee you, Jake, in baseball, and we all have gotten in guys' faces or whatever. But you know what? It's still a family, right? You still gonna, I got your back, you got mine, and it's all what constructive criticism. But you wait till Boogie Cousin gets healthy, and you put that whole team. And so I'm not. They're not worried at all about that team because when that team's completely fully healthy, ain't nobody gonna touch them.
Yeah.
Right. So. Yeah, I think they can be competitive. They're competitive, and you can still sit down some of their stars, right? So yeah, I mean, there's probably matchup issues with with Curry being down or somebody being down that doesn't help the matchups. But it's way too early. But I don't know where Cousins is in his rehab assignments and stuff. But when that guy comes down and that's your center. That's an all-star team.
It is.
They're
all first round. They're all first round draft picks.
I'm not going to judge them until after the All-Star break. Just let them go because they could be 10 games behind after the All-Star game and still win that division. I mean,
they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. 10, 15 years ago, no one would even know about the friction in the locker room. It's just this day and age with social media.
Yep.
Right.
Somebody says something. Now KD and Draymond. It's like. Yeah. It's just the day and age that we live in now.
Yeah. And so I'm not worried about that team. And you know what? They know that this is their last hurrah. That team ain't going to be like this next year. That's going to get blown up.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they don't have the money to re-sign everybody.
Right, exactly. So they know that this is their last hurrah. So let's go out and get another ring. And to be honest with you, the Celtics or Philly or I don't know who else on the East Coast is going to give them. Unless Houston starts to figure it out, they're not having a good start this season. So
not at all.
So
Kings and the Ducks. Ducks keep sending guys to the
And the
hospital ward.
The thing that worries me about the Cam Fowler injury is nobody said anything after his surgery. So that makes you think that it's going to be longer than a couple
They usually
months.
come out with, we were pleased with what we.
Yeah. I was looking this morning, and it's still Lindholm. They're kind of doing the upper body, day by day kind of thing. But with Fowler, it's nothing, and that's what concerns me. But that's the other thing with this goals team is there's defensive depth down there, and some of these guys like a Jacob Magna now can come up and fill in for him. Yes, I know Jacob Magna's not a Cam Fowler or a Hampus Lindholm, but he's a 6'7" defenseman who can skate. He'll be okay, and especially the the Mantra guy that they had for against Colorado, he showed some promise. So it's like, I would say kind of like with the Lakers, I would wait till middle to late January to finally say if this team's done or not, because I think personally that they're going to make a big splash and come the trade deadline. I think that they're going to kind of weather the storm a little bit, and then once February hits, I think someone's going to be on, because they were already talking about trading Montour to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they've got the assets. They've got the young assets.
Well, the one thing that I just noticed that is something that with the mix that you have, right, and you're going to be competitive, right, but you're not going to be overwhelming. You're not going to be the San Jose Sharks, right? So you have to win crucial games. You've lost 5 overtime games at home. Like, you can't do that.
No.
You need to win those games, right? Or at least, not lose them in a shootout or whatever. But you're losing overtime games at home. Like, that's 5 games. That's a lot of points, right? And they're what?
5 points.
I think they're only 4 points, 3 points out of the wild card, right?
So, no, 3 points out of the first place, 1 out of the wild card, because everybody else keeps losing.
Yeah. But I mean, those are points that you need to win, right?
Yeah.
You need to get those points,
5
and
extra points.
you just can't allow that to happen, right? And so what I do when I look at that, I'm like, is this our coach? Is this the coach we need? He's already failed once. We brought him back again. Like, I don't know if he is our coach after the All-Star break. The Oilers just got rid of their coach.
Yep.
Right? I mean,
Chicago.
Right. So it's just
St. Louis too, Mike Yao.
Yeah. So there's a firestorm going on, and it wouldn't surprise me if he's gone too.
Yeah.
So
Wouldn't break my heart.
right.
No, it wouldn't break mine either, but the thing that the Ducks kind of shot themselves in the foot was getting rid of Trent Yanni this year, the defensive guy.
Yeah.
Because now if you get rid of him, Trent Yanni was supposed to be that next guy in, and the Eakin, didn't, he wasn't that good of a head coach in Edmonton, excuse me. So I don't think Carlisle's going to be around either, but it's almost to where, you see the Twitter and the Instagrams of, fire Carlisle, fire Murray. It's like, you can't get rid of Carlisle just yet, because there's, we're not just going to fire Carlisle and go get Quenneville.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, so it's, and for the most part, unfortunately, he's basically playing with an all-star team down, if you think about it.
Right.
With Eves, Lindholm, Fowler, you name it. So it's kind of like, for what he's doing right now, I think it's been okay. Yes, I would like to see more overtime wins, but I think the firing of Trent Yanni hurt the Ducks more because our defense.
Didn't they lead the league in penalty kills when he was?
Yeah.
When he
No,
was
and our defense was top 5.
Yeah.
And then they just canned him, and I'm sorry, but our defense is starting to show a little bit, being aggressive, but when Carlisle said, we're being too cute with the puck, it was kind of more directly towards the defensive players. And that's, I just want to see more grit out of them.
Yeah.
Because the goaltending's there, obviously, as we all know.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And depth, too.
In depth, yeah.
A lot of depth. Yeah, they'd be in a good position to make some trades because they have a lot of young.
Well, the interesting thing is Silverberg's not in tonight. So that can, maybe he might be.
they're home tonight.
Yeah, he might be gone tonight. Never know.
Yeah.
Trade.
How about
Really? Well, I just want to throw the scrappy little Clippers are hanging in there.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah, they're 11-5. They're hanging in there, and they've had some good wins against the Warriors, the Spurs. They beat the Rockets twice. So You know, again, they don't have a name on that
We're
team.
gonna have to learn their names.
Yeah, but they're scrappy. I like that. You know, they lost a tough one. I think the other night they were leading
Washington.
They were leading
up
the
by
majority
20.
of the time. Yeah, and they let them come back. But that's a scrappy little team up there. So you know, I know that we don't talk about them a lot, but I started looking into some things today. I'm like, holy crap, they're in 4th place in the West.
This is the test for next week. Next week we're all required to
Yeah, exactly.
repeat their starting
Name some
lineup.
homework.
Name your Clippers.
And going back to the Kings, I think once Quick comes back, I think they're going to start gelling even more because I mean, I know they're at the bottom of the West right now, but I mean, you look at this Western Conference, it's still up for grabs because everybody
for
was.
sure.
You know,
Nobody's run away with it.
nobody. I mean, I personally, I thought San Jose was going to, but you look how
So
they're
did I.
playing
Yeah, they traded the whole team for.
Carlson,
Carlson.
who's going to be a rental, and you know you got Kane and you got Pavelski and Thornton, who's playing well too. But they're just, I feel like with that team, it's kind of one puck, too many egos kind of thing.
But I'm wondering if they're still trying to figure each other out.
Yeah, that's
You
the
know what I mean?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
could be.
And when they do, watch out, right?
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But no, I still think the Kings have a shot too. I think everybody's got a shot. When the Arizona Coyotes are only 1 point behind, for
Yeah.
playoff position,
yeah.
which don't sleep on them either. But
Well, but Vegas has suffered from the sophomore jinx.
oh
too.
yeah,
They're down. I
Yep.
think they're just above the Kings.
they're just
Although when
right
the
above.
Ducks went in there, they threw 5 on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't
That was ugly.
too good. MLB. Anybody have any? I think the big trade rumor now is Syndergaard to San Diego.
Yeah, that was new to me. I really didn't look into Major League Baseball.
I
too
heard that
much.
coming in on 1090. I guess the Padres
For
now have the #1 farm system
Yeah.
in baseball, and they've offered, I guess, 4 pretty
top prospects.
top prospects
Yeah.
for
Syndergaard,
for
right?
Syndergaard, which
Well, I think they need more than Syndergaard.
well,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
How about you let those top prospects start working their way up? And let them play and get them. Do what the Cubs did. You had your whole infield was making $400,000 a year. If these kids are that good, you're not wowing the crowd with what you have.
No.
Let some instead of getting. Unless you can get a couple. I don't. Are you saying there's four players for one guy?
Yeah.
3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah. See, I just don't know if that's smart.
Well, that guy was injured last year too.
Mm-hmm.
He only made
And
7 games. You want to pitch 7 games?
Mm-hmm.
And
So-
he was in the mix.
Yeah.
Or Syndergaard. Oh, you mean
Syndergaard,
Syndergaard? Yeah.
So I don't know whether how well or how healthy he is.
And then on Friday you have the match. Phil Mickelson
Yeah, I was gonna
versus
ask you
Tiger
about that.
Woods. Yeah. So
A lot of people want to see it, but nobody wants to pay.
I think people are starting to break down a
Yeah.
little bit
Are they?
because
Yeah.
and because they're starting to spend their own money. So I know Vegas was not too hyped on it recently. I know that they were at the very beginning, but once they said they were going to pay-per-view, the hype kind of went down. But since that last press conference where Phil said, I'm going to guarantee that I birdie the first
Oh, yeah, he's
hole
bet on that. He's
for
bet on it.
$100,000.
Yeah.
Now I've been told that's their money. Right, I've been told that that's their money, so it's going to be fun because you're going to have Pat Perez and Charles Barkley in the fairway with them, doing some
Barkley.
commentating.
That should
so
be good.
It should be good. I'm thinking, I don't know, I might watch it at the golf course where I play out of. They're going to buy it, so
Okay.
I might watch it there. But it could be quite interesting. So it should be fun. But I don't know. Usually this time of the year, it's the fun tournaments, right? Where I liked watching the Skins game, right? It was fun. So
That's right, yeah.
hopefully something like this can continue, and we'll see because Phil loves to gamble, right?
He's talking smack.
And Tiger is usually pretty frugal with his money.
Yeah.
So either Tiger knows that he's going to win the $9 million and be able to grab that and pay off his incidental bets or something. I don't know, but the first hole is worth $200,000 already on side bets.
Well, yeah, he bet. He doubled it. Tiger
Yeah, he doubled it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you got two guys that like to talk a lot of smack, so it should be kind of fun. So, and Pat Perez, I think, will be great because Pat Perez he's a funny dude. So that should be pretty good. So I'm looking forward to that on Friday at noon. So
Charles Barkley.
yeah, Barkley and they're taking the TBS guys or whatever it is. Who does TNT? Does the basketball? Ernie Johnson and Barkley. We're doing some stuff, but on the golf course will be Charles and Charles. Talk about gambling. I mean, you watch. He's going to be a mouth. I guarantee he'll be out there going, "Come on, guys, close to the pin for $5,000." Like he'll probably do some stuff. So, looking forward to that.
That will be.
So I don't have any. I know that the Angels. I think Bridwell got let go. I mean, there's a couple of little ones that they just had
Bridwell,
three players come up and join the 40-man roster, and 2 guys got let go. And Parker Bridwell was one of them.
He came over from Baltimore 2 years ago. And was great.
Yeah.
10-3, and was a top winner.
Yeah.
For half the season, and then last year he was hurt all year and couldn't get anybody out.
And the Tampa Bay Rays let go of C.J. Cron today.
I saw that.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Especially the year that he had.
He had great numbers.
Oh, yeah. And basically, you're too good to play in Tampa is what they did.
And we're going to set you up for an assignment.
Yeah.
What's your assignment? Go find another team.
Yeah.
So
I'd be okay with him coming back to Anaheim.
Well, I was thinking about that today. Where would you play him? They don't need a DH. You don't need a first baseman.
Who's your first baseman?
That's the thing.
We need a first baseman. I don't want him to be our first baseman, but
You're
we need a
gonna
first
need him.
baseman.
Well, yeah, but you got two right-handed hitting guys.
I don't care if you're right-hander or left-hander. You need a first baseman.
He could probably do the Mark
Because
Trumbo
Pujols
thing.
is not a first baseman anymore. He's a DH, and he'll fill in at first base.
He's going to have to play first base so Ohtani can DH.
Yeah, but we don't even know when Ohtani's going to
healthy.
be back. That surgery, I mean, if you think he's going to be back, but again, Ohtani's going to. Yeah, I don't know. I hope they take him slow. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Well, luckily they re-signed Peter Borges to a minor league deal, so the Angels.
The Angels did they really?
League
I
minimum.
loved his defense.
Oh man,
I loved his
He was a top prospect for the Angels at one point before Trout. Like,
Well, yeah, he was a center fielder.
That guy flew around the bases, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's our get.
I don't see him making the roster, but
Yeah.
Well, he's probably better than Eric Young Jr. I guess he got released though.
Did he?
He was our fourth outfielder. Who was our fourth outfielder?
Well, he was late. He was late. Yeah. I'm trying to think who the fourth outfielder
The other guy was. It was Eric Young Jr. Oh, that Jason.
Chris Davis.
Chris Davis was there for a while.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he was the one who blew his hamstring out, right, or his knee.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you guys, I haven't heard anything much besides the Borges and Bidwell thing. So, I mean, hopefully something starts turning, in December. It probably will once the winter meetings hit in Vegas. That's when moves like to get done.
Yeah, they should. Things should start to happen then, hopefully. Yeah, the Angels still need. I still think they need a front line, top of the rotation starter.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to have Richards until probably 19.
Well, he's done.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to re-sign him.
Well, like I say, if I would just sign him to the minimum. But you might be right.
I don't know. I think with them, I think you're right. They got to go and get a frontline starter, and
they also need a reliever. They need a setup guy.
Third baseman.
Need a third baseman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we get something under the Christmas tree this year.
Another new manager. Too soon.
What's he got?
Too soon.
He's got a 3-year contract.
3 I think with an option of 4.
Okay.
I think, but yeah, I think it's 3 years, which we'll see.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think I kind of go with John. I don't think Epler even opened the door to anybody else.
Nope.
It was.
And the crazy thing about this division is Seattle's going to be on a fire sale in a month, and Texas is rebuilding, and Oakland's Oakland. I mean, they're always in rebuild mode. So I mean, the Angels could, if they can get off to a hot start, they can compete for that first or second place wild card.
Seattle just sent Paxton to the
Yankees for. I mean, it was a fair trade, but I mean, Seattle's going to be dumping. Texas, got a brand new manager too. So
right.
I mean,
well, and Beltre retired today.
Beltre retired.
So yeah, they're going to be.
Who did Texas end up signing as manager? They haven't signed anybody yet?
Chris Woodward.
Third base coach
third
for the
baseman
Dodgers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Be interesting to see what the GM for Harvard.
Girardi didn't get there. Is Girardi waiting now?
No, they're not going to get.
Nobody's going to go hire him, huh?
I think Girardi and Socha will never get a job again.
Showalter, none of those guys are going to get work.
Chris
Because
Woodward.
it's old school.
Wow.
It's the scouts, the scouts in the stands with their nothing to do with.
Curious to see
analytics.
if Alfredo Griffin goes to first base for the Dodgers now. And
Did he?
no, I'm just saying. I'm wondering. You know.
Yeah, all their coaches are gone. I don't think they've.
Lakers all tied up. 35 seconds left in the third. 77-77, 79-77 Lakers. So they're making a little run.
Watch LeBron in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to say goodbye so we can go.
That's right.
Watch LeBron in the fourth quarter.
Anything else? You got anything else we're going to do?
I got nothing. No.
Thanksgiving.
Our
Everybody.
producer engineer is back, so we are out.
Peace. Happy Thanksgiving.